Hello, you're watching AFTV5. I am Quenisha Lewis reporting. On May 15th, AFTV5 went out to listen in on Mrs. Sarah Eckert's campaign meeting. She spoke on topics such as government tax break.
Government exists to give voice to the least among us and provide a level playing field. It does not exist to put your thumb on the scale for certain businesses and certain industries at the detriment of others, particularly when it means giving large tax breaks to the wealthiest of our citizens and shifting the rest of the tax burden onto the remaining taxpayers, which is what we're doing. Travis County is the smallest player in economic development fields, but currently we are foregoing $12 million annually in tax revenue because we're giving it in tax rebates to large corporations. You all make up that $12 million. You take that $12 million onto your property tax.
Technology and local infrastructure subject was raised.
But wouldn't you need to have that technological local infrastructure in order to bring in the bigger companies like the solar, like the wind farms, like these, like these emerging industries? Don't you have to have that broad-based support to have that, just that basic infrastructure in place?
Yes, you do. Do you think we don't have that basic infrastructure in place?
I think it's partially due to local subsidies.
It is, but do you think it's in place now? At some point, you have to decide you're done and stop giving the subsidies. And I think when Apple and Google are moving here, that's a good sign that you're done.
Right. Well, it's a good start.
The issue with East Austin's expensive living adjustments was discussed.
I mean, here's the joke, is it's cost prohibitive for me, and I am the neighbor. But what's sad to me is hearing about people over in the east where the development is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, which is raising their property value for somebody that purchased it. Maybe blessedly someone is burning their mortgage payment if they're doing the last one. But for someone that bought a home a long time ago and the area is skyrocketing, they're having to leave Austin because it's unaffordable to them. And to me, that is shameful. It's just absolutely shameful.
Well, that may not be here much longer.
And local transportation issues.
I have a county transportation question
Yes.
for you and for Mr. Betts here at the DAA.
This is Charlie Betts. He's the executive director of DAA.
When I looked at this a couple of years ago, something like 85% of the county's tax revenues was being collected inside city limits, but 100% of the county's transportation dollars was being spent only in unincorporated areas, which is serving sprawl, not serving where we're building, where we're generating the tax revenue, where we need the transportation infrastructure. So the question obviously is, for you is, are you willing to work on changing that?
Yes.
And Mr. Betts, is that, for him, is like, why hasn't that been, a priority for you guys to change that?
And that should be our priority. We've got to change that paradigm. The corporate culture in Travis County has been for a very long time that we don't do infrastructure inside the city limits of Austin. And that needs to stop. It needs to stop. It has changed somewhat. It's changing slowly. We contributed toward the Waller Creek Tunnel project, which was an important project to contribute to. I know it was contentious. I know a lot of folks were not in favor of the Waller Creek Tunnel, but as a flood control device, it had to happen. And also it does put a tremendous amount of real estate back onto the property rolls. You're right, it's going to tax subsidized hotels, and that should not have happened. But also Travis County needs to start participating meaningfully in the city's quest for transit, rail transit, inside the city limits. Right now, under the Texas statutes, because transportation is defined in the transportation code as roads only. Right now, counties can't contribute general fund toward transit. But what we can do is forego tax revenue and leave that increment for transit. So we need to do tax increment financing zones, public improvement districts, all around the proposed rail stops, not only for the City of Austin's rail program, which is a good program but costly, but also for Lone Star Rail as well. And we've also got to lay aside and set the baseline for the Green Line going out to Elgin and the Mocan line that runs up East Austin on Dessau Road up into Pflugerville and eventually Georgetown. We've got to have a rail network.
Thank you for watching.